Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1290. Look at my hair, a little different this morning because John Keating made fun of me yesterday. So I had to switch it up. What's up? Happy Wednesday, hump day. Big week, big day, trash and recycling at the curb. Not why I'm 34 minutes late. I overslept. Ernie was a good boy, didn't wake me up. Maybe he should have woke me up. Like, hey, get up. It's time. Take me out to go potty. So Ernie was a good boy. I was not a good boy. I overslept. But I feel like I put in double time yesterday. And I feel like that gives me a pass to sleep a little bit later on Wednesday morning. We had Tuesday night live auctions last night. Another successful week of auctions. Auctions final prices realized higher than my expectations, which I love. I don't think all of the ones that I'm like, I hope this gets, I think so. Let me check. I think all of the auctions that I'm like, this went for higher than I expected. I think they were all paid for. Let me see. Yes. So the auctions where I'm like, ooh, I hope this gets paid for, we're all paid for. So that's good. I've got more auctions. Of course, we put the Tuesday night auctions back, another round last night. Those will end next Tuesday night. We'll go live at 7 p.m. Central on Tuesday nights. We've got the Walter Payton, the authentic men's size from SGC. Beautiful condition. Unfortunately, minimum size requirement tag. That is now at auction. Just going to throw it on auction, throw it to the wolves, and some other good stuff at auction this week. I've got auctions ending tomorrow night, Thursday night, as well as Sunday night auctions, all refractors on Sunday. There's the link, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. That's buy it now only. That does not include the auctions. And don't forget, I'm on Collects. Check out the Collects app, COLLX. Download that app and find my store. 1 million Cubs, over 2,000 cards already in the first, 10 days. So adding some new inventory there. I've made nearly 200 sales already in the first week and a half. So check out the deals. Singles are cheaper than what I'll put on eBay. I've got a bunch of 70 singles, still going through those commons from the estate sale. So I've got some of those listed in my Collect store at cheaper prices than eBay. So check out the Collects app. Find my store, 1 million Cubs. Having some success with sales there. So having some good times on Collects. What else is going on? Last night. See, last night when we go live, it's like, whoa, what did I do last night? Oh, you know what we did last night. We did auctions last night. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich last night. We made, I helped. My wife made salmon and risotto on Monday night. Was that Monday night? No, we played trivia on Monday night. Was it Tuesday night? Last night was Tuesday. Sunday night, my wife. Salmon Sunday, of course. Salmon Sunday. My wife made salmon in risotto. So last night, I'm like, so what do you want to do for dinner? She said, is there any risotto left? And I said, yes, I haven't had any. She's like, I'm having the risotto. I'm like, okay, I don't want the risotto. So I had peanut butter and jelly. That was my dinner last night. What else? Did some shipping. I'm still clawing back on shipping. You know, when I'm out for a day and a half, actually kind of like 2 full. Actually, this past weekend, it was kind of like being out 2 full days because half a day I was spent at the Sheraton getting set up for Saturday. That was on Friday, of course. All day, all night, I'm away with the card show and the Sammy Sosa event. And then I didn't get home until noon. And really, I was not very productive. I was tired on Sunday, so didn't get much done on Sunday. So so I'm still playing catch up on shipping, and would like to get some listing done. I did do some. Why was I in here sorting last night? I should have been shipping, but I pulled about. Oh, I know why. Because my desk was an absolute mess. So I'm trying to get this room. As you can see, look behind me. That should all be clear. There should not be any. Look at that. There should not be any stuff outside of a few things on that countertop. So I need to get some more cleaning done and picking up. I guess I've got shit everywhere. So disorganized. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's see what's going on. Andy Max in the house. Good morning. Boston Smoke is here. What's happening? George is up. What's going on, George? Good evening. George said good morning twice. He said good morning last night, where it was actually morning for George. And he says it today, where it's evening for George. Good evening, George. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Andy Max says he bought about 15 Mark Jacksons for $1 each about a year ago. It's a good deal. Sold them for $5 each and was pretty happy. Hey, I would have been too. You know, I've been selling Mark Jacksons ever since the Menendez brothers. That's the topic today. Ever since the Menendez brothers were found in the background about 5 years ago, the market's been as volatile as Bitcoin, but the floor's been like $5. And but they're so common, they keep popping up. I keep finding them and I keep selling them. Peter's in the house. Good morning, people and robots. Hopefully no robots in the house. Mr. Archer, good morning. Kevin's checking in from Lakeland, Florida. Dave Arnold's checking in from Bushnell Prairie City. John says, love the dog bed. Yes. And you know, like dogs typically use their dog beds, except for Ernie. Even Biscuit was just a very quirky Havanese. I think anybody familiar with the Havanese breed, I think they're just quirky little dogs. Biscuit was the quirkiest of the quirky. But even Biscuit used her dog bed. Ernie? No. Ernie, you'll find Ernie back over here just laying sprawled out in the sleepy position on the hardwood floor. Biscuit hated the hardwood floor. Ernie loves it. Like, give me that hardwood floor. I don't know. Dogs are awesome. And they're freaking quirky. So yeah, Ernie, every once in a while, Ernie will, he gets duck jerky. He gets a piece of duck jerky every day. And he will go into his dog bed and eat the dog jerky. Sometimes he'll I'll look over and he'll be like, his butt will be in the dog bed and the rest of his body's just like sprawled out on the floor. He's just a weird dog. Mikey's in the house. Good morning. Mikey is here. We can start the show. Lewis in the house. Good morning. Offbeat All-Stars is here. Good morning. Orlando's checking in. What's happening? Red Light 34 is in the house. Good morning. John says, I've fallen asleep more than once with my head in the dog bed. I don't think I've ever done that. Well, maybe in my 20s. Red Light says, hell no, it don't. LOL. Offbeat All-Star says, Brewers lost, and I'm $25 in the negative on my eBay account. That monthly fee hits hard. He needs some sales. Get him some sales. That was like back when managed payments started on eBay. They would take out the standard envelope fee on a weekly basis. Now, when you're shipping 1,000 ESCs a week, that hits hard. You know, the monthly fee doesn't affect me, but the ESC, when it all came at once, it was like every Wednesday, and they took all of that ESC, and it's like, it's like, come on, man, spread this out through the week, and now they do. And now it's spread out through the week, so it's much easier easier pill to swallow. than all at once. 1,000 ESCs coming on in one foul swoop. John says, red light, read your Twitter messages. T206 Kid says, missed the live last night. Wife dragged me to some show called The Most Haunted Objects. That sounds fun. Maybe. You know, I am, and we've talked about this. It's October. We can talk more about the spooky season. I'm like, I've told the story about the haunted tours in downtown Macomb, which were just goofy as hell. And until one of those ghost tours, I actually believed in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. In fact, in my 20s, I believed in ghosts, but didn't believe in aliens. And now it's vice versa. Now, I don't think aliens are little green men, but I think there are other life forms in our universe, galaxy, whatever it might be. Like, it's pretty vast out there. I don't think we're the only living creatures on this planet. So anyway, now I believe in aliens, alien life forms. Don't believe in ghosts, and mainly because of the ghost tour I took in my early 20s working in radio. It's like, this is goofy as hell. Like, it just felt staged and just over the top. And I'm sure there might be some credence behind some ghost stories. I've never experienced it myself, which doesn't mean it's not real. But I just, I don't believe. But that doesn't mean I'm not interested in ghost stories, and I still like. I'm into ghost movies and that sort of thing. But like some of these ghost tours. So how was it? So how was the show? The Most Haunted Objects. I would be open to doing another. My wife would not be. My wife's like, no, I'm not doing that. But I would be interested in fact, I think this weekend or next weekend, there's like a true crime seminar here in Madison, and it pops up on my Facebook feed. And I'm like, that looks fun. Cause you know how I am with true crime. I enjoy it, which is weird. It shouldn't be like enjoyable. So anyway, let's see. Red Light says, okay, John. John says, I always know when the eBay monthly hits, the 4-cent payout is a dead giveaway, right? Zach says, you should crack the Peyton and send it to Tag. Tag? Brian says, who knew two murderous brothers with an alleged incestuous relationship could make common cards valuable again? Who knew? America, baby. Dan, what's going on? Unicorn Cupcakes here. Good morning. Dan says, did he say why he was late? He did. Just slept in. Overslept, slept in. Didn't want to get up. Are you sure it was jelly? It was not jelly. I had peanut butter and what's the we talked about this last time. It was not jelly. It was peanut butter and fruit spread, I think. So I did not have peanut butter and jelly last night. I had peanut butter and fruit spread, and I believe it was raspberry. Mark Marinello's in the house. Good morning. Cautiously optimistic about my Mets. How about those Tigers? I didn't even look. I didn't even look at the scores. I did watch some of the Brewers-Mets game, which was more than I anticipated in watching playoff baseball. Royals beat the Orioles. I saw that score. Scores. Royals beat the Orioles 1-0. I'm actually pulling for the Orioles in that series. I like the Orioles. I like the Royals also, but if I had to pick between the two, I want Baltimore to win. Tigers and Astros. Yes. Okay. So Tigers and Astros, I want the Tigers to win. So Tigers beat the Astros. Mets beat the Brewers. And that series, it's hard for me because it's like I don't like either team. I think at the end of the day, Mets. I'm going to pull for the Mets. Braves and Padres. That's a series I don't really care about. I don't care. And I think this is the Braves Padres is the opposite of Mets Brewers. I don't want either of the Mets and Brewers to win, but I kind of want both the Braves and Padres to win. It's like I wish it was like the Mets and Braves. I'd root for the Braves. Padres and Brewers, I'd root for the Padres. So, by the way, Padres beat the Braves 4-0. So I'm okay with that. Philip has a question. No need to raise your hand. He says on collects, what is the min price? There isn't one. There isn't one. So there is a minimum price, I believe, for checkout. Like, I don't think you can purchase, like, you can't buy a card for a quarter. Like, you can't just go in and buy one card for a quarter. There's a minimum on the collects app. I think it's $1. So if you want a quarter card, you have to buy 4 quarter cards, or a quarter card and a $1 card, or something that gets it over the $1 threshold. As a seller, there is no minimum. So you can set cards to a penny if you want. My kind of base is a quarter. I've got a bunch of quarter cards listed in my collect store. All the way, probably the most expensive might be like $3. I think I had some Adley Rutschman rookies for $3. Maybe that's why I want the Orioles to win. I have a whole bunch of Adley Rutschman rookies that I've just been kind of holding on to. More Adley Rutschmans than Bobby Witt Jr. So I think that's why. And good morning to you. Red Light says, Reddit John, and sent you a message back. There you go. George says, it's always morning for me when you're live. John says, I was selling Mark Jacksons for $8 a pop for a while. $1 is a steal. Yeah. In fact, actually, I think they were in the $4 box. James, I don't know if James is in here this morning. He was yesterday. But at the Madison Card Show on Saturday, my buddy Jeff, who Zach and Porter know, Jeff had a whole stack. I don't know how many there were, but I bet there were like 10 Mark Jackson 90 NBA hoops. They were in the $4 box, and then Jeff gives great bulk discounts as well. So I'm not sure what his price point was, but probably a couple bucks, maybe $3 at the most on those Mark Jackson cards, which are now selling for $30. And James holds this stack, and I'm like, oh, I missed out. Philip says, how do you use Card Dealer Pro to mark the pricing to sell on collects? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's go in, and I will show you. Do I have anything? I have some cards next to me. So let's do batch collects 1K1L. So I'm gonna drop that comment. So I'm going to run through collects. Oops, I got to get these out of here. All right. Here is Card Dealer Pro showing my batches. All right. Let's see. There's a couple Minnesota Vikings cards that were next to me in a football box. Got to turn my scanner on. Phone out of the way. All right, so scanner's on. Let me clear my card folder. Just going to do a batch of 5 here. All right, we're scanning now. All right, we've scanned our cards. Move those over to a folder. All good. Save. Okay. All right, so now, wrong screen. Card Dealer Pro. So you're going to go into Card Dealer Pro like you normally would. Here's your batch screen. You're going to add your batch. So 1 HIJKL, 1AL. So we're going to go name it collects 1AL. They are football cards. We're going to use the football template. My generic. Continue. Near mint. So just like you would on eBay. So your sale price, we'll do 25 cents on these. They're just commons. So you just do it in your sale, just like you would on eBay. Your sale price is 25 cents. Create that batch. All right, now we go to Magic Scan. And there we go. Here's my 5 cards. Of course, you're going to get the red lights because on eBay, the buy it now price must be greater than or equal to 99 cents. That's not the case on collects, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, what I really love about collects, sending it to collects, you don't have to worry about I don't think any of these. Yes. So this card, actually, the title is over 80 characters. There's not a character limit on collects because it will automatically adjust the title to the card. This is also, looks like it's the wrong card anyway. So we've got to change this. This is the base card. Let's see. This one looks accurate. Michael Bennett and Dante Culpepper. So we've got these good. That's all we have to do. And then guess what? The only thing I do is I want to make sure these get batched in the correct batch. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to use this skew feature, clear the values out, collects, box 1, tab AL, fill that. And then all you do, send to collects, and they're on. That's it. That's how easy it is. I freaking love it. It's so easy, so much faster. I mean, it's even faster, way faster, maybe not way faster, but it's much faster than eBay, listing to eBay, because you don't have to worry about the 80 character and all of the other stuff. Just make sure it's got the accurate AI, switch it over to the accurate one, and then click send to collect, and it's there. So super easy. Let's see. Dan says, sold more Japanese Menkos to the same buyer on Twitter. Transfer that money to the brokerage account. There you go. How about that? Selling cards to put into brokerage accounts. Love it. John says, Ernie doesn't care about sleep yet. He crashes where he crashes. That's a good point. He's a puppy. He's just gonna, I'm tired. I'm going to sleep right now. Kind of like when you're drunk. It's like, I'm just gonna, hey, this bar, head drops on the bar. Victor, good morning. That dude from Durier's in the house. He says, I find the Jackson card often because it has been a common for 30 years. So it's in those old shoe boxes. Absolutely. Goodwill pallets, 90 NBA hoops. I probably have a dozen in boxes throughout my card room. But it's going through them. If I find a box, oh, here's NBA hoops. Oh, let's go find the Mark Jackson card. James, what's going on? Good morning. Victor's in the house. Go Bears. John says, my dog has a bed on each floor. He clearly doesn't want to be disturbed when he is in his beds. Yes, Ernie has the bed behind me, and he has a bed upstairs. He has a bed in my wife's office. My dogs like the couch. So we have not, and I don't care, but Amy does. We have not, I'll put Ernie on the couch sometimes, and he really doesn't like the couch yet, but he's still learning. Biscuit was like, I want that couch. And she spent day and night on that freaking couch. John says there's quite a few basketball commons that are worth more than appears. Mark Marinello says, when the kids were little, they, my dogs, and we shared the bed. It was like Grand Central Station. Tough to get a little action. Brian says, heading to the Brewers game today. Let's hope it's not for the last time this season. Dan says, you may not believe in ghosts, but do you wish they were real? Not really. That'd be spooky. Not really. Cooter says, come November 2nd, you will believe. John says, there appears to be other life forms in some of the private chat groups I used to belong to. Max says you should go try out McCamey Manor. I've never heard of McCamey Manor. John says the ghost of Little Rock Connie haunts me. Fascinating is a better word than enjoyable. Fascinating, yes. Enjoyable, kind of creepy to use that word when it comes to true crime or any crime. Johnny M says, good morning. I wish eBay would give me the option of cashing out once a year instead of forcing me to cash out once a month. I'd rather get one huge payday at the end of December. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, you would think they would want you to do that because then they can keep all the interest. I would not recommend that because then you're giving eBay a free loan once a year. It's like getting a tax payout. Like, you're just letting the government use your money for a year. Let that money work for you. George says, Little Rock Connie, herpes is the gift that keeps on giving. John says, I get paid per transaction. Probably not the best way to do it. Florida baseball card dude in the house. Good morning. Offbeat All-Star says there are 5,500 known planets in our galaxy. There are 50 known galaxies. Simple statistics says aliens probably exist. Absolutely. John says, Zach trying to convince me the Phillies didn't have a bye. Philip's profile pic looks like someone's view of the trunk door closing on them. Max says, you do you, but give me my money as soon as possible. I'm with you. I'm with you. eBay makes plenty on the float as it is. I'll take the interest throughout the year. Even the pennies. I'd rather take my pennies or reinvest it and make dollars than letting eBay make as much as they can. Mark rooted for the Cubs in 2016. I let 1984 go, LOL. Max laughs, agreed. Zach says, John, I believe I stated that we're not number one seed and you and I didn't know how the buy system works in Robbie's world. Gundy's in the house. Good morning. John apologizes to Zach. I didn't believe in anything until I met LRS. John sold the ugliest baseball card ever yesterday. Was it the Don Mossy? Was it the Don Mossy or was it the Bob Hamlin? Good morning, Flawed Thinkers in the house. Zach says, it's okay, John. I just want to be there. Fair discourse to encourage conversation. This collects listing is already taking longer than me to list on eBay. That's not true. Offbeat All-Star says, I couldn't find my 2023 Topps Heritage Adley Rushman nickel on collects. Probably not. You're going to find less cards on collects, obviously, for obvious reasons. There's going to be less eyeballs on collects for obvious reasons. John says, only thing missing from the collects interface is Clippy. Michael Renicky in the house. Good morning. How often does collects pay out? What payment options does collects have? I don't even know yet. I have money sitting there. And we talked about this. So collects does not release the money until the item is delivered, which I'm okay with. Do I want my money instantly? Yes, but that's just not the world we live in. So I'm okay. My money. So withdraw history, no result because I haven't withdrawn anything. I probably got to link my bank account. Haven't done that yet. I would guess. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I should probably know. I'll ask. I think once the money's cleared, you can transfer it. You can like withdraw, or you can leave it in kind of like probably how ComC works. Maybe I don't know how ComC works, but can you just let it sit in your account and like, oh, I'm just going to buy cards with my money, and that's what platforms want you to do. Keep the money in their platform so you can go buy cards on their platform. Right now I have I haven't made much. I've sold almost 200 cards, but again, they're like quarter cards and 50-cent cards. So right now I have pending $50, balance of $15. So 200 cards, $65, but it's like commons that I've sold. And a couple star cards, I guess, but mostly commons. John says, little dogs are couch challenged. Good morning, Tracy. What's happening? Flawed Thinker says, looked into the Ohtani 50-50 set. In my opinion, there are way too many parallels. Not as many as regular Topps Chrome, but I think too many that will eventually devalue the cards. Thoughts? I don't have any thoughts. I don't have any thoughts on this. I didn't look into it. I don't really have much interest in the online only releases. I did fall prey to the Topps Now Ohtani 50-50 card. I bought 20 of those. I threw away money on that, most likely. That was my gamble. I'm not a big gambler when it comes to cards, so that was a gamble. Speaking of, though, we talked a little Allen and Ginter yesterday. I did order a case after we looked at that checklist yesterday. Now the odds are pretty long that you're going to get a Chuck Norris or a Usain Bolt auto, but hey, it's on the checklist. I love Allen and Ginter. This is more of a guilty pleasure rip for me. Now, do I want to make money? Of course I do. But it's also, there's going to be some of the money is entertainment purposes. So while I am going to flip everything with the exception of Cubs, I'll sell Cubs dupes. But it's more of a, I love Allen and Ginter. Now, unfortunately, I think it releases. Hopefully I get it on or before release day, because I think it comes out the week of my trip to the Dallas Card Show and to see Cooter. I think release day is the 30th. I fly out on the 1st. So hopefully I'll be working overtime on October 30th. Hopefully, maybe it'll come, since I ordered straight from Topps.com. Hopefully it'll get to me a day early like some of the releases have. But I did order a full case of Allen and Ginter, and I'm looking forward to that release date, October 30th, end of this month. Let's see. Philip says, yeah, actually, the trunk did close on me. Johnny says, I didn't see a spot for SKU on collects. I am listing a few cards to check it out. So that's one thing that I don't really care for. The SKU only shows up when a card sells. So you don't see it in the background, and I've talked to them about that. Like, it's kind of something that I'd like to see, especially if I have a card that it's like, oh, I want to pull this card to trade it or to sell it at a card show or whatever. Like, I want to locate it, especially when I get, right now I just filled one 4-row box. So it doesn't really, I can find it fairly quickly. I kind of know what tab it's in, but yeah, that's something that I have talked to them about. Like, I'd like to see it at least on the packing list. It is on the packing list. Also, what I don't like is when you sell a card, and I don't want to show this because it'll show addresses. I wonder if I can maybe get around. Let's see. Let's go to this. Packing list. Print packing list. Let's see. Just want to make sure. Okay, so this screen doesn't have addresses or anything. So this is the packing list that what I don't like is it basically prints out 2 packing lists, which if it's a big order, if it's 30, 40, 50 or more cards, it's going to print multiple pages, and I'm pissing away, wasting a lot of pages. So the packing list does not have the SKUs. I don't know if you can probably can't really see that there, but then there's also a do not pack me list. Okay, we can share this because it doesn't have an address. So the do not pack me actually has the picking list. So there's a packing list and a picking list, and it's like, just give me a pack list, because I want the SKU. I only want to print one list. I don't want to print a do not pack me list and a pack me list. So that's one thing that I passed on to the team at Collects is, I just want this on the packing list. I want the SKU also on the packing list. Right now it's not showing. So and I would like to see it on the actual app for my listings, where I don't want to just wait till a card sells and, oh, there's where it is. Zach and Porter says, I love using the word fascinating. It doesn't mean it's either good or bad. It's fascinating, and the speaker can interpret what you mean without agreeing with them. I like that. I like that. Here's the ugliest card ever. Am I able to? I can't click on it. Show off with the link. John says, you look fascinating, Zach. Johnny M says, my dog has a real bed where he likes to enjoy his breakfast. John says, I recently did a show with a colleague that rubbed everyone the wrong way. I found him fascinating, intriguing. Philly Joe says, Pete looks like a lot of the people who live in Lancaster. Let's see. SoCal guy in the house. I lived in Beverly Hills for 10 years. On my daily walk, I would call my mom when I reached the Menendez house each day. She always knew where I was when I called her. It was our little joke. That's funny. Let's see. How does the port strike affect my eBay store? I haven't seen any effect yet. Maybe it will. Let's see. John says, you might not understand how selling cards works. Victor says, I'm a Cub dupe buyer. So Victor, I will be. That's something that I think I'll be adding to my collect store. I'll be adding a lot of Cubs, my Cubs duplicates to my collect store, and kind of feature my Cubs duplicates in the collects app. No one is shipping their cards into the Eastern Seaboard ports. That is correct. George says, I'm a genie in a bottle. You got to rub me the right way. That dude from Duryea says, does the scanner handle the Allen and Ginter minis? No, it's my downfall. It does not. I've tried scanning multiple different ways. Probably the only way to do it would be putting them in a top loader. And at that point, it's like I might as well just list them manually with my phone. So unfortunately, no, the scanners do not handle the minis. Max says, I thought the checklist wasn't great. Wasn't great? This is like the best Allen and Ginter non-baseball checklist in several years. In terms of now, and I'm talking in terms of resale value, not in terms of our personal interests, because personally, I don't really care for most of these autographs, but from a resale standpoint, this is one of the best. So yeah, so what do I have? I don't have it on, but Chuck Norris is great. Usain Bolt, Travis Scott. Some of the random shit sells super high. Like the last year, was it pickleball? Those sold really well. Frisbee golf or ultimate frisbee golf or whatever the hell it's called. Those sell awesome. So a lot of those obscure, like who in the hell is this, sell for a ton of money. So this is, in my opinion, this will be the best reselling non-baseball checklist from Ginter in quite a few years. John says, ComC is in the Northwest. Shipping doesn't mean they use actual ships. Low Roller Scratcher talking about ComC. Let's see. Johnny Yim says, I listed 7 cards on Collect so far and haven't sold any. This site sucks. Right? George says, real talk, I was going to download Collect and browse around, but it's not available in your region. That's some Rudy Poo stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not available in Korea. That sucks. John says, how many unique sellers have bought from you on Collects? Let's see. Let me take a look at my sales. Ted has not. Ted nor his family have bought anything from me. Come on, Ted. My sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 unique customers. Porter says, good morning. The best wax to rip are the sets that you enjoy. Absolutely. And have the possibility of getting a hit to profit from. I like Allen and Ginter, plus it scans nicely. Amen. Yes. Except for those damn minis. Yeah, it's a fun rip. And I used to rip cases of it. Usually one case. One year I did rip multiple cases, 2 or 3. I can't remember which year that was. I did rip 2 cases the year of my wedding, 2017. I've shared that story. Release day was the Wednesday of our wedding week. It was my wife's grandma's 99th birthday. We had dinner, and a tornado warning interrupted dinner. We finished dinner, skipped dessert, took my wife's other grandma and grandfather when he was still alive back to their place. And I was not home to sign for my case, my first case of Ginter. So it was at the UPS UPS hub. And I'm like, hey, we're just a mile away from the UPS hub. And my wife's like, really? In a tornado warning? I'm like, it's probably on the other side of the county. We're okay. So I picked up the UPS, picked up the Ginter case at the UPS hub, ripped. And in the second case, I don't think came until like the day before the wedding. So obviously, with all the wedding stuff, I did not profit. I could have profited on those cases, but just based on the timing, was not able to get those listed fast enough. I had work and a wedding and all that other stuff in the way. Let's see. Double A Cards in the house. Good morning. Hope everyone has a great day. You as well. Porter says, I'm chasing the JFK cut auto relic. Chasing as far as my one hobby box takes me, that is. Good luck. You never know. You can't win if you don't play. I'm going to sell minis in a lot. Johnny M, I'm listening from my phone and do not even see a spot to input a SKU number. I've never listed from my phone, so I list from Car Dealer Pro. So from your phone, yeah, I don't know if there's a spot to put a SKU from your phone. I don't even know how to list from my phone. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that. Max says, could care less about Boy Meets World. Very top-heavy checklist. And those are just, I mean, I could care less about, couldn't care less, by the way. I couldn't care less about the baseball autographs. Most of them. Ohtani I would care about. Cubs autos I would care about. Did you add your cards to TCDB? No, I don't think I've added any late. I haven't added any cards to trading card database lately. John says, I continue to dwell on obscure A&G minis. DB Cooper, Alcatraz, Donkey Kong Champ. Victor says, do you have any presidential cards? I think I do. In fact, I have one right behind me. This, because it's a Little Debbie. John Tyler Little Debbie card, because it's taller than the average card. Love the minis. Put them in a box and send them my way. Have 100,000 plus. George says, said it before and I'll say it again. A&G is hands down my favorite set. Has stuff for my sports and non-sports fetishism. Absolutely. John says you were wise to set the tone of your marriage very early on, right? It's not like 5 years into the marriage. Hey, I'm a baseball card hoarder. Let's see. Skill games are coming back. Cooter says Wisconsin tornado warning. Little cute baby tornadoes. And usually they're not even tornadoes. Usually it's just like a funnel cloud. Or conditions are favorable. That's a watch, but they've kind of boosted the alerts for tornado warnings, at least here locally or statewide, I guess. That dude from Duryea says, slowly trying to complete an Allen and Ginter bazooka back mini set. It is daunting. Depending on how long that dock strike goes, it could affect card supply. That's a good point. It could affect supplies coming over from China. Max says, Johnny, in my experience, bazookas are 10 times easier than no numbers, even though print run is 2x. Too many stupid people. Let's see. Low Roller talking about GameStop. Dude, not Johnny. John says someone turns a ceiling fan on in Wisconsin and the sirens go off. Sometimes that's what I think happens. So the Mark Jackson, up to $30 a common, a junk wax common. Mark Jackson, 1990 NBA hoops. I've seen the prices. I usually sell them for between $5 and $8 on eBay. With the Netflix series that just came out, there's been renewed pumping of this card, and they're selling for a lot higher. I put one on at auction this past week. It ended last night for $27 plus 99 cents shipping. I just before the auctions, I'd sold one for $30. And the other one I had in my eBay store sold this morning for $30. Now I'm going to go look for more. So that's why it's booming again. Is the Netflix documentary renewed interest? The 1990 NBA hoops Mark Jackson card, the gift that keeps on giving. It's because the Menendez brothers are in the background. Oh, there you go. There's Mr. Lyle and Eric Menendez sitting courtside at Madison Square Garden. And so that card was 5 cents. And then all of a sudden it wasn't discovered. I mean, it was how many years? It was 30 years until that was discovered, maybe 25 years until that was discovered. I think it was like 2017, 2016, when somebody finally said, hey, I think that's the Menendez brothers. Did a little, probably somebody on Reddit And boom. And then all of a sudden they went to like 30, 40 bucks a copy. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, but there's still that people want it. Drop to like 5 to 10 bucks. Sometimes you can get 15. Now you can get 30 again. It's more volatile than Bitcoin, the 1990 NBA hoops. Mark Jackson. John says West Coast gets the supplies from China. Okay, cheaper that way. That makes a lot of sense. Obviously. And I believe the port strikes are on the East Coast, correct? I don't think the West Coast ports are not on strike. Dad Dude says no numbers get missed easily while sorting. Low Roller Scratcher, Bitcoin, more action. AA cards. What is the most cards you have listed on Car Dealer Pro to eBay in one day? Probably 1,000, but it's not something I've like tried. It's not like a record I've tried to beat. But probably 1,000. Orlando says, when first discovered, I found 13 and sold them all between $10 and $15. Love it. John says, I'm surprised the Menendez card wasn't brought up in trial. There was a big deal about their spending spree. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody noticed in 19. Like, I wonder when NBA Hoops was released. When was the trial? When was the set released? Menendez trial. Shit. I'm surprised it took this long. You would think in Discovery they would. Menendez trial. But it wasn't like a known thing. Now, we didn't have the internet in 1990, 1991. Let's see. Oh, they were convicted in 96. So the card had been out for a few years. I didn't realize. I thought the timeline was quicker than that. So the crimes happened in August of 1989. And this is 90-91 NBA Hoops card. So it would have been, the photo would have been taken in like the spring of 1990. I think I read somewhere it was like the photo, they matched the photo to like a May 1990 or March 1990. So, but I don't think it got mainstream recognition until like 2016. And the internet had been around for quite a while, 20 years. So I'm surprised that I'm surprised it wasn't found sooner. Orlando is not interested in collecting them. Me neither, but I'm interested in selling them. Philip says, how come top 63 tall cards don't sell good? Have autographed Pete Ward card. I don't know the answer to that. 90. The Menendez brothers were discovered on the Mark Jackson basketball card in 2018. Steven Zorantz, a true crime buff, was the first person to identify Lyle and Eric on Jackson's trading card. 2018. That's amazing. Let's see. Brian says, I found Jake Gyllenhaal in 2023 Donruss sitting courtside behind Rui. How do you pronounce his name? Hashimura? Rui Hashimura? I think someone sold a ticket stub from that game. We know that. John says because they are 1964 Topps Giants, they sell extremely well. No one really cares about Pete Ward is the answer to your question. There you go. All righty. That's what I had for today. Find your Mark Jackson cards, put them on eBay, sell them, make money, and buy some cards from my store, 99centcards.com. Don't forget, I've got auctions running, 3 of them. I've got the Tuesday night auctions that just began last night. I've got Thursday auctions that end this week, Thursday night, tomorrow night. Those are all Wisconsin sports related. Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, and Packers. I've got Sunday night auctions ending this weekend. Those are all refractors. So check out the auctions in my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Check out my Collect store, adding inventory daily. COLLX. Download the app. Shop my store, 1 million Cubs. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Nice little belch there. Subscribe to the channel. Max says next year the dock workers should get a card in Ginter. Orlando says I have a rare 1894 football card, the anonymous card. Identity was discovered in 1980. Wow, that's pretty cool. Try buying a 64 Koufax or Mantle Giant. You'll know the market real quick. All righty. So that's what I had for today. Like, subscribe, shop my store on eBay and collects. Have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.